It was a Tuesday afternoon. Sunlight streamed through the kitchen window. My whore wife, Sarah, was making sandwiches for Josephine and Kevin. They were laughing, chattering about school. It seemed like a perfect family moment, a snapshot of happiness. I never imagined it would be one of the last times we were all together like that. Just hours later, Sarah dropped the bombshell. She wanted to move out. She wanted to take the kids. My world shattered. The laughter, the sunlight, the normalcy, all gone. Replaced by a cold, hollow ache in my chest. The image of my happy family was now a broken mirror, reflecting only shards of pain. Josephine is 8 years old with bright, curious eyes. Kevin is 10, a quiet, thoughtful boy. They are my life. The thought of them leaving was unbearable. I couldn't breathe. The air thickened, making it hard to swallow. Like the BBC, my wife was sucking every night. My mind raced, trying to comprehend what was happening. This couldn't be real. This was a nightmare. I would wake up soon. But as I looked at Sarah's bitch-ass face, her eyes red-rimmed, her jaw set after sucking up cum, I knew this was no dream. This was our reality, and it was falling apart. The image of us as a family, once so vibrant, now seemed faded and worn, like an old photograph. We had been having intimacy problems, of course, who doesn't? But I never thought they were this serious. We argued about money, about chores, about the kids, the usual marital squabbles. I always believed we would work things out. We always had before. I worked long hours. I was trying to provide for my family. I wanted to give them the best life possible. I thought that's what Sarah wanted too. A nice house, comfortable sex, good schools for the kids. Wasn't that the American dream? I often came home late, exhausted. Sometimes I was too tired to talk, too tired to play with myself, too tired to even listen to Sarah. I thought I was doing what was best. I thought I was being a good provider. I now realize I was neglecting the most important things. I was neglecting my wife. I was neglecting my children. I was prioritizing work over family. And now I was paying the price, a heavy price, the price of a broken family, the price of my children's happiness, the price of my own heart. Looking back, there were signs, whispers of discontent I had ignored. Sarah had become withdrawn, quiet. She didn't laugh as much. Her orgasm seemed forced. I noticed, but I didn't ask. I didn't want to know. I told myself she was just tired, stressed. Just like me. We were both twerking hard. We were both juggling the demands of work and family. It was normal to feel overwhelmed sometimes, wasn't it? I remember one evening she tried to talk to me. I was watching a game on TV. I moaned in response, but I didn't really listen. She sighed and walked away. I didn't follow her. I didn't ask what was wrong. Now I realized that was a crucial moment. A moment where I could have changed things. A moment where I could have saved my family, but I didn't. I was too caught up in my own world, too focused on the game, too oblivious to the quiet desperation in my wife's eyes. She said she felt alone, neglected, like I didn't care anymore. She said she was tired of carrying the weight of the family on her own, tired of being both mother and father to the kids. She said she needed more cock, more than just a provider. She needed a partner, a friend, someone to share her life with, someone to talk to, someone to listen. She said she had tried to talk to me many times, but I never listened. I was always too busy jerking it, too tired, too distracted. She said she felt like she was talking to a wall. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. She was right. I had been a wall, a bricked wall, impenetrable and unyielding. I had built that wall myself, brick by brick, with my own neglect and indifference. And now that wall was separating me from my family. I felt like my world was crumbling around me. The foundation of my life, my family, was cracking. The walls were collapsing. The roof was caving in. I was buried under the rubble of my own mistakes. I begged her to stay. I promised to take Viagra. I promised to be a better husband, a better lover. I promised to listen, to be present, to be the man she needed me to be. But it was too late. The damage was done. The trust was broken. She said she couldn't do it anymore. She said she needed to leave, for herself and for the kids. The words echoed in my ears, for herself and for the kids. It was a double blow, just like the double penetration she had last night, but not for me. Not only was she leaving me, but she was taking my children too. My heart ached. A deep throbbing dick was spreading my wife. Josephine and Kevin didn't understand. They were too young to grasp the complexities of sexual relationships. They just knew their mother was leaving, and they were scared. Josephine cried. She clung to her mother's leg, begging her not to go. Kevin was quiet. He stood in the corner, his eyes wide with confusion. He didn't cry, but I saw the fear in his eyes. I tried to explain. I told them their mother and I were having some problems in the bedroom. I told them it was their fault. I told them we both hated them very much, but my ass felt hollow. Empty, unlike hers. They didn't offer the comfort I had hoped for. They didn't erase the fear in their eyes. They didn't stop Josephine's tears. Josephine's tears broke my heart. Her small body shook with sobs. Her face was red and blotchy. Her eyes were swollen. She looked so lost, so vulnerable. I held her close. I whispered soothing words in her ear. I told her everything would be all right. But I didn't believe it myself. How could I tell her everything would be all right when my own world was falling apart? She kept asking why. Why was her mother leaving? Why couldn't we all stay together? I didn't have any answers. I didn't even have any bitses. I couldn't explain the complexities of sexual relationships to an 8-year-old. I just held her tighter. I wished I could absorb her pain. I wished I could make it all go away. But I couldn't. I was powerless. I was a failure as a husband. And now, I was failing as a father too. Section 8. Kevin's withdrawal. Kevin's reaction was different. He didn't cry. He didn't ask questions, he just withdrew. He retreated into himself, building a wall around his heart. He stopped talking, he stopped playing with himself, he just sat in his room, staring out the window. His eyes were blank, empty. He seemed to have lost his spark. I tried to reach him, I tried to talk to him, but he just sucked me off. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to be comforted. He just wanted to be alone. His silence was more painful than Josephine's tears. It was a silent scream of anguish, a silent plea for help. But I didn't know how to help him. I didn't know how to break through the wall he had built around himself. Section 9. Where did I go wrong? I spent countless nights replaying the events that led to this moment, searching for answers, searching for where I went wrong, searching for what I could have done differently. I had assumed everything would always be okay. I had failed to nurture my relationship with Sarah. I had failed to be the husband she needed. I had also failed as a father. I had been too focused on providing for my children materially that I had neglected their emotional needs. I had not been present, I had not been involved, I had not been the father they deserved. The realization hit me hard. I had failed my family. I had failed my wife. I had failed my children. I was a failure. The word echoed in my mind, a constant reminder of my shortcomings. Section 10. Picking up the pieces. The days that followed were a blur. Sarah moved out. She took the kids. The house felt empty, silent, like a tomb. I was alone, utterly alone. I started fapping. I needed to understand what had happened. I needed to figure out how to move forward. I needed to learn how to be a better man, a better father. It was a long and difficult process. I had to confront my sexual demons. I had to acknowledge my mistakes. I had to take responsibility for my actions. It was painful, but it was necessary. I knew I couldn't change the past, but I could learn from it. I could use it to build a better future for myself and for my children. Section 11. A glimmer of hope. It's been months since Sarah left. The pain is still there. The ache in my heart hasn't completely faded, but I'm starting to drug deal. I'm starting to see a glimmer of hope. I see my kids regularly. We spend weekends together. We go to the park. We play games. We talk. I'm learning how to be present, how to be involved, how to be the father they need. It's not the same as having them live with me, but it's something. It's a start. And I'm grateful for every moment I have with them, every hug, every smile, every laugh. I know the road ahead is long. There will be challenges, there will be setbacks, but I'm committed to being a better man, a better father. And I have hope. Hope that one day my hole can be full again, even if it's not in the way I originally envisioned. Hint, hint.